You're in a crowded Tokyo conference room. Garr Reynolds steps up, no flashy slides, just a single image, serene, simple, silent. The room waits, skeptical. Why ditch bullet points and flashy charts for what looks like a nature photo? This is Presentation Zen in action, shaking up everything you think a presentation should be. But why does less really become so much more? Let's unpack that. Imagine drowning in slides cluttered with bullet points. Presentation Zen says stop, strip the fluff, feel the tension in overloaded presentations versus a clear, elegant message. Garr Reynolds points to Walter Isaacson's biography launch where Steve Jobs spoke with just a handful of slides, mostly images, no dense text, each slide a breath, a pause. That simplicity made Jobs legendary, letting the message hit like a lightning bolt instead of a noisy storm. Think of designing slides like crafting a haiku, concise, meaningful, and balanced. Just as 3 lines evoke an ocean of emotion, a single slide should spark insight without overcrowding. Presentation Zen teaches that every element, image, word, space must earn its place like pieces in a Zen garden. When you shed clutter, the audience stops skimming and starts feeling. Clear visuals trigger connection, engagement spikes, presentations shift from tedious chore to memorable experience. You walk into the room carrying questions, leave with stories sewn into your mind. This simplicity isn't just minimalism, it's communication amplified. Presentations bomb when they're just fact dumps. Reynolds knows stories stick, but how exactly do you weave stories visually and verbally? Let's crack the code. Guy Kawasaki, who wrote the foreword for Presentation Zen, champions the 10-20-30 rule: 10 slides, 20 minutes, 30-point font. It forces you to trim the fat and lean into a clear narrative. When Kawasaki spoke, his slides were less notes, more storytelling cues. The story, not the slide, leads the dance. Reynolds compares metaphors and presentations to a compass in a wilderness. Instead of wandering lost in data, metaphors guide the audience through complex ideas with relatable, vivid imagery. For example, likening a business strategy to a journey on a stormy sea ties abstract concepts to real emotions and visuals. When you fuse story and simplicity, you get that magic moment. The audience stops thinking in bullet points and starts feeling the story. Numbers become characters, charts become scenes. It's no longer a presentation, it's an experience. Presentation Zen teaches that transforming abstraction into human narrative turns listeners into lifelong fans. Designing a clean deck is half the battle, delivering it is everything. Reynolds shows how embracing Zen principles in delivery turns nerves into power. Garr Reynolds recalls a moment presenting in Kyoto when he abandoned the laser pointer and instead locked eyes with his audience. The silence wasn't awkward, it was magnetic. Being fully present draws people in, making your message alive and breathing instead of a dull lecture lost behind gadgets. He compares practicing your talk to a Zen monk's daily ritual, where repetition and mindfulness sharpen focus. Reynolds explains that practicing with intention, not just running through slides, rewires your confidence and flow. It's less about memorizing words, more about embodying the message inside and out. The payoff: audiences want authenticity over polish. When you lead with genuine presence, imperfect moments become bridges of trust. Slides become supporting actors, not the stars. That shift turns ordinary talks into memorable experiences, the kind that stick long after slides dim. Remember that Tokyo room? The silence after that simple slide wasn't emptiness, it was invitation. Presentation Zen challenges you to do away with clutter, tell your story like you mean it, and step into the spotlight with presence. So tonight, try this. Pick your next slide deck, cut it in half, ditch text-heavy bullets, and deliver one thing with crystal clarity. Watch how magic unfolds. Subscribe for more book summaries like this one.